Hey everybody, how's it going? It's me, Gabriel from Clandestine Podcast.
And Olivia.
Today, as you know, Olivia's bringing our first story of the week. I'm very excited to hear it. She always does a great job and really brings the deep dive as we all love and enjoy.
Thank you.
I'm going to let her take the lead here and see what she's got for us.
The case that I chose for this week, I wasn't expecting to do this case. I'm in the process of working on some other cases that aren't finished yet, so I was just kind of like, what am I gonna do?
You got a busy caseload, sounds like.
I do, yeah. I was sitting down last week sometime earlier in the week. I was on HBO Max. I was looking for something to watch while I fell asleep, and they have Clueless on there. I've never seen that movie. I love 90s rom-coms.
Yes, you do. I can testify to that.
But I have never seen Clueless before. So I watched it, and then all of a sudden, I was like, oh my gosh, Brittany Murphy, who was in the movie Clueless, she unfortunately passed away about 12 years ago.
Shame.
Yeah, it's a very interesting story, so I decided that is what I'm going to cover this week.
I'm excited. Let me say it to you real quick. I like Brittany Murphy. I liked her in
8 Mile.
She was in 8 Mile. Specifically, I liked her in, what was the movie with Ashton Kutcher?
Oh, Just Married.
Just Married. That was such a good movie. But you know what? The one with Dakota Fanning too.
Uptown Girls. Wow, when I told him that I was doing Brittany Murphy, he was acting like he didn't know who that was.
Well, by name, I didn't know Brittany Murphy. But once I figured out who she was, I was like, oh my gosh.
Yeah, wow, it sounds like you're a fan.
Uptown Girls was a great movie. It was good, but it was also emotional at the same time.
I'm surprised you've seen that movie.
Oh yeah, I spent a lot of time with my mom growing up. So
Yeah.
we got to watch these movies together.
Well, yeah, without further ado, Brittany Ann Bertolotti was born November 20th, 1977, making her a Sagittarius,
Oh.
in Atlanta, Georgia, to parents Sharon Murphy and Angelo Bertolotti. Her father was actually heavily involved in organized crime.
Really?
And was in and out of prison in the very early years of her life.
Oh, wow.
Which actually led to the destruction of her parents' marriage. She was 2.
She like Italian or maybe like Irish?
Oh,
or
yeah, she was Italian.
Italian? Okay.
I don't know what Sharon Murphy's lineage is, but Angelo Bertolotti, I mean, yeah.
That sounds a little bit Italian. Just a little bit.
After the divorce, Sharon moved with her 2-year-old daughter Brittany to Edison, New Jersey. They were extremely close, and their relationship from the outside looked more like a older-younger sister relationship as opposed to mother-daughter. They both referred to each other as their best friends.
Her and her mom?
Yeah, which, personally, like, bit of a red flag. I mean, I don't know. I see it as a bit of a red flag when mothers and daughters consider themselves best friends. I feel like that there's
I agree.
there's a boundary being crossed by the mother in that situation. You gotta let your daughter, blossom on her own.
Of course, be there along for the ride, but also still be the parent.
When Brittany was 5 years old, she was enrolled in Vern Fowler's School of Dance and Theater in Colonia, New Jersey. When she was 12 years old, she finally convinced her mother to take her to New York to start auditioning.
Real quick, did she want to do that herself, or was that kind of influenced by her mom or something?
She wanted to do it herself.
Yeah.
But she was only 5 years old when she was enrolled in this school, and she was only 12 when she went to start auditioning. So she still was very young. She wasn't capable of making career decisions yet. Yeah, of course.
Definitely.
However, she immediately started booking commercials and small roles in shows like Murphy Brown, Frasier, Party of Five, Sister Sister, and Boy Meets World.
Real quick, I love Frasier. Oh my god. I probably saw her on there, but didn't realize that was Brittany Murphy.
Yeah, I definitely saw her on Sister Sister and Boy Meets World, because I've seen every single episode of those.
Is that right?
She moved with her mother to Los Angeles in 1991 to further her acting career. She was enrolled at public school John Burroughs High School in Burbank and booked a recurring role on the sitcom Drexel's Class. Her big break, though, would come in 1995 when she was cast in the role of Ty in the movie Clueless. The movie was a hugely massive success and plunged Brittany Murphy into stardom. After the movie, she lost a huge amount of weight to the point where it was almost kind of concerning to the public, and rumors began to circulate that she was abusing drugs like cocaine to keep slim, or that she was had an eating disorder.
Oh.
She denied ever using cocaine on account of a heart murmur she was diagnosed with from a young age that she was very careful about. She did have struggles with her body image, and the director of Clueless, Amy Heckerling, thinks that they might have originated from working on the film. Brittany was a ballerina growing up and was always naturally thin, and in Clueless she still is by no means fat, but she played the, quote, chubby, quote, ugly duckling who needs a makeover from the main protagonist in Clueless, which kind of, I think, followed her around for a little bit after that movie came out. In 2002, she went blonde, lost some weight, but she denied any weight loss and said she was still the same weight as she was in Clueless, and said, quote, "It's just the weight in your face changes as you grow and get older. This is my body. I'm proud of it. I'm healthy." Close friend sources did confirm, which we all know about close friend sources in the Hollywood industry. Can't really take what they say as always the truth, but they did say that Brittany did have body image issues and that she lost weight, dyed her hair, and fixed her teeth to better fit into the blonde bombshell Hollywood starlet archetype and not forever be, quote, the fat girl from Clueless. So during her career, she would star in several other cult classic films such as Girl Interrupted, Uptown Girls, Sin City, and 8 Mile.
She was in Sin City? Mm-hmm. Oh, that's a great movie.
She was like that where she was wearing like a black bra and like dancing or something. It's like a famous, or maybe that's Jessica Alba. I don't know. I've never seen that movie.
Oh.
Anyways.
God, it's a good movie.
As well as many other movies that were hits in the late 1990s to early 2000s. Director Penny Marshall, who directed her in the movie Riding in Cars with Boys, which starred Drew Barrymore.
I love Drew Barrymore.
I know you do. Said of Brittany, quote, "Her timing was impeccable. She could be funny. She could be dramatic. She was a terrific actress." And this was just kind of a side note. I thought it was pretty interesting because she was also a beautiful singer. And at one point, she was booking a few studio musician gigs as a backup singer. She said, quote, "My singing voice isn't like my speaking voice. I've just always kept it a secret and never taken credit because I wanted to learn how to work behind the microphone in a recording studio. And some of the singers don't even know it was me recording on their albums."
Huh. Wow.
She was in a band called Blessed Soul in her teens. She was the main feature on popular British DJ Paul Oakenfold's single Faster Kill Pussycat, which was a club hit and hit #1 on Billboard's Hot Dance Club Play Party chart or something, and peaked at #7 in the UK on the overall singles chart. And she would go on to sing in movies like Happy Feet and Little Black Book. So she dated her just married co-star Ashton Kutcher for a year, and she dated her co-star Eminem for a while as well.
What?
She was also rumored to be linked to Fred Durst at one point.
Hold on a second. There is a whole lot going on with this story now.
I mean, it's not really important to the rest of the story. I just thought that was interesting.
Pretty darn important. I love me some Kutch, one. Secondly, Eminem, come on now. That's, wow. I mean.
And Fred Durst.
And Fred Durst thrown in there for the curveball.
Gender studies extraordinaire.
Who, Fred Durst?
Yeah, the shout out to all the ladies, fellas, and the people who don't give up.
Yeah.
She was engaged twice to 2 different men that were not Ashton Kutcher, Eminem, or Fred Durst. They weren't famous. They were just whatever. She would eventually marry a 3rd man named Simon Monjack in 2007. Simon was a British screenwriter, director, producer, and makeup artist. Her marriage with Simon lasted 3.5 years. It is unclear how exactly they met, and they had only dated for about a year before their wedding.
Oh.
Simon was born on May 10th, 1970, making him 7 years older than Brittany Murphy.
Weird champ.
His marriage to Brittany was his 3rd and Brittany's 1st. He had gotten into trouble in the past for fraud-like activity and allegedly owed one of his previous wives over $50,000. So some people speculated how that affected his marriage with Brittany, if at all. I guess a lot of people kind of warned him about this guy before she got involved with him, but, you know. So Simon was very controlling over Brittany and displayed many qualities seen in traditionally abusive partners, like dictating who she could and could not talk to or associate with. She even lost a part in a movie she was in called The Caller because Simon crashed the set drunk and no one, including Brittany, could get him to leave.
Wow, what a stand-up guy.
It's speculated she may have been blacklisted from Hollywood because of her relationship with Simon and his behavior, but that cannot be confirmed. What can be confirmed is that around this time, she had been dropped by her manager and talent agent. While she was in a relationship, she was still booking roles, but none of them were in projects as successful as the ones she was in before. Which, of course, could be completely unrelated to Simon, but is worth pointing out given his behavior.
Yeah.
At this point in her career, she was like 28, 29, 30, so unfortunately in Hollywood that does tend to be the shelf life for actresses, so it could just be that, but I don't know, which I hate to say, but it's just the reality. Brittany lived with her mom Sharon her entire life. Even after her marriage, Simon moved into the home with Brittany and her mom, and the three lived together in a house in the Hollywood Hills that she bought from Britney Spears in 2003. According to Brittany's mother-in-law, so Simon's mother, the trio lived essentially in squalor, despite it being a multi-million-dollar mansion. She said that some of the windows were even boarded up. There was mold everywhere, and it looked like the house was occupied by hoarders.
Maybe you'll get to it. Maybe I'm wrong, but it definitely seems like there's some substance abuse going on. So
you may or may not have hit it right on the head. In December 2009, Brittany had come back from shooting a movie on location in Puerto Rico. She was actually fired from the film because she was acting, quote, disoriented, forgetting her lines, and taking too many extensively long bathroom breaks. When she returned, she became extremely sick with pneumonia, and some of her symptoms were chest pains, bad cough, and extreme lethargy, whatever. Even with her extreme illness, she would not immediately schedule a doctor's appointment. She finally did schedule one, and the appointment was scheduled for December 21st, 2009. So what happens next, there are a lot of conflicting reports, but this is what I collected, the information I collected.
Yeah.
On the morning of December 20th, 2009, Brittany collapsed at home after a coughing fit that was so bad she started to vomit. She reportedly told her mom, quote, "Mommy, I'm dying. I love you." Right before collapsing again, she said, quote, "Mommy, I don't feel well." A 911 call was then placed by Sharon Murphy to report her daughter as being unconscious and unresponsive. So I would like to play that call.
Fire Department 97, what's the address of the emergency?
1895 Rising Glen Road.
What's the phone number you're calling from?
Street.
Tell me exactly what happened.
Oh, somebody's passed out.
Somebody what?
My daughter's passed out. They're doing mouth to mouth. Please get here quick,
okay.
please.
Okay. All right, we're going to. How old is your daughter?
She's 30. Please hurry.
She's 30.
To her mouth.
Can you feel or hear any breathing?
I feel her hear any breathing.
Can you feel or hear any breathing? Yes or no, ma'am? Hello? Hello? Hello?
Just a minute, please.
It just takes a second. Can you feel or hear any breathing?
Can you hear anything, Simon?
Yes or no?
Yes or no? No!
Okay, all right. Listen to me carefully. I'm going to tell you how to do compressions, okay?
Brittany, please come back!
Ma'am? Ma'am? Is he still pumping on her chest?
Yes.
Okay, needs to continue, okay?
He is.
Did anybody see what happened? Ma'am? Ma'am? Did anybody see what happened?
She was dizzy. She couldn't walk right. She's had a cold. Oh, my God.
Is she taking any kind of medications at all?
What?
Is she taking...
No.
Wow.
So, I don't know if anybody caught it, but the opening lines Sharon says on the phone call after giving the address and phone number is, quote, "somebody passed out." Which is just kind of weird.
Yeah.
Why wouldn't you say, "my daughter passed out"?
My daughter passed out. Yeah, that would make sense.
And, like, saying somebody passed out, just, that's something you would say about somebody that you didn't know.
Yeah, if you're walking down the street and someone was unconscious. But,
Yeah.
Hey, somebody's passed out over here.
So, to give her the benefit of the doubt, of course, it could just be her brain protecting her from realizing it's her daughter she was so close with. But when the 911 operator asked how old her daughter is, because she did eventually say, "it's my daughter," whatever.
Yeah.
Her mother says 30, which, again, is not accurate because she had just turned 32 the month before, which is just kind of weird, but
Yeah.
I guess it could have slipped her mind at the moment.
Oh, definitely.
Simon gave Brittany CPR while Sharon was still on the phone with 911. At 8 a.m., first responders attempted to resuscitate Brittany, and she was rushed to Cedars-Sinai when they could not. She was, unfortunately, pronounced dead at 32 years old on December 20th, 2009 at 10:04 a.m., which, in a cruel, ironic twist of fate, was a day before her scheduled doctor's appointment.
Really? Yeah. Oh, my gosh.
Simon originally did not want an autopsy, but because of the strange circumstances, one was performed anyway. The LA County coroner said that the cause of death was natural and no foul play was involved. Her official cause of death was a combination of pneumonia, acute anemia, and drug intoxication. On February 25th, 2010, the coroner released a report saying that Brittany had been taking many over-the-counter and prescription medicines, most likely to treat a cold, but she didn't have a cold. She had pneumonia. So if she's taking, like, cough suppressants, that's going to make her pneumonia worse because she can't hack up all that fluid. It's just going to fester in her lungs, and then she's going to get an infection.
Yeah.
She had, quote, elevated levels of hydrocodone, acetaminophen, L-methamphetamine, and chlorpheniramine. Everything in her system was a legal substance. There was nothing illegal in her system. She had 2 anti-seizure medications in her system, which were prescribed to Simon for his epilepsy, but she did not have epilepsy. I also read somewhere that she had methamphetamine in her system, like this L-methamphetamine, but it could have come from an inhaler. But she did not have asthma, but Simon did. So. Oh,
so okay, weird because it also. Yeah, why would you take anti-seizure medications if you don't?
Well, at least one of the anti-seizure medications, some people do use as a appetite suppressant, I read. She also had propanol, diazepam, and 3 other benzodiazepines, which, in her system, which, quote, strongly suggested a drug addiction.
Yeah.
In all, 14 prescription meds were found in her system.
Do you know if they were the benzodiazepines that were prescribed to her, if they were hers or not?
I don't know.
No.
But
regardless, they were in her system, so, I mean, I guess it doesn't really matter if they were prescribed to her or not.
Well, half of them were. The other half were prescribed to Simon. The coroner said that she had anemia because of a heavy period, which she had just had around the time of her passing. The coroner believed her death could have been prevented if she would have seen a doctor much sooner, but her husband had allegedly been administering her these medications instead. Simon said in an interview with Larry King that she had laryngitis, and because he was a rabbi, he prayed over her instead of encouraging her to seek treatment.
That's a good idea.
This Larry King interview is super interesting. I wish that I could find it, but I could not. I mean, maybe if I looked harder, I could have found it, but I could not find a clip of it or a good clip of it on the internet.
Yeah.
So he and Sharon Murphy are sitting next to each other being interviewed about Brittany by Larry King. Larry King happened to ask Simon why he didn't want an autopsy, and Simon said, quote, "This pristine body that was curvy in all the right places, skin like silk, to have it cut open."
That's like the creepiest thing you could say.
Yeah.
That is so weird.
And it's just like, imagine who you think would say that, and that's kind of what he looks like. Brittany's mother was present, and she appeared to be acting strangely, just kind of out of it.
Is that her mother?
Yeah. And she was laughing with Simon when he made jokes, which was just, it's just seems to be weird. Like, why are you making jokes? Why are you laughing at a time like this?
Oh, yeah.
You know, you can't police how people grieve, but it's just weird to point out. After Brittany's death, her widowed husband said, quote, "I had a life I never dreamed. I have seen the sunset on 5 continents. I'd trade it all for one more day with Brittany. I lost my life. She was my best friend, and she was a little girl who wanted her husband right there. What do I have left?" Yeah, kind of. That little girl comment kind of makes you perk your ears up.
That and it also seems like scripted. I don't know, if my wife died, I don't know if I'd be able to like conjure that up. I'm just like, I don't know, man. I'm stressing out. Yeah, I'm losing it. I don't know if I'd be coming off so scripted like that.
Yeah. So another weird decision that Simon decided to make was shortly after her death, he gave a deeply unsettling house tour to the tabloid website Radar Online of the home he and Brittany shared, which included her bedroom and also the room where she died. So we actually have a clip of that.
Oh.
I'd like to pull it up.
By all means.
This is the little doggy couch where she actually fell. She fell on Clara's chaiselong, and then she was put on her side right here next to the chaiselong. And then when the paramedics came in, they pulled her through here into the through the one of the closets into the main room. So yeah, you're the first people to ever see the infamous bathroom. And
does it bring up?
Oh, well, today is the 3-month anniversary of her death. And before I saw you, I was actually with Sharon at the grave. So, and it's the first time I've come in here, actually.
You don't use this bathroom anymore?
No, I don't use it at all. I have my own over there. So, yeah, it's,
Okay, I'm sorry. Real quick.
Oh, wait, before you comment, I do want to say you can check out our Instagram if you want to see the video, because I'm going to post it there.
Nothing about that seemed right.
Yeah.
First of all, that dude's haircut.
Okay.
What's going on there? Secondly, I haven't been in here in 3 months. Dude, you're trying to act like you're faking that you're not upset about it. Totally lying.
Just wait until
because okay, one, now I'm involved because like I said, I saw Uptown Girls and I love that movie. That movie meant a lot to me growing up. And
the infamous
bathroom. What are you talking about?
That's where your wife died.
Look at him. He's like smirking right there. Is that not a smirk? Am I just stupid? Because I'm pretty sure it is. Dude, I don't like where this is headed.
Yeah.
I don't like where this is headed at all.
Yeah, and that's it doesn't end there. So, you couldn't really see in the clip that we showed you, but in the full video, it's very obvious how cluttered and unpleasant the living conditions were.
Yeah.
After Brittany died, Sharon and Simon continued to live in the home together. They did other interviews together besides the Larry King interview, and this part, gets me. They did a photo shoot where they are photographed holding a photo of Brittany and posed in what can only be described as holding each other, with Simon's arms around Sharon in most of the pictures and her, leaning into his embrace. Comment says, if I saw that man in public, I'd immediately call the police.
Honestly.
Well, 5 months later, on May 23rd, 2010, Simon was found by Sharon deceased at age 40 in the exact same room as Brittany.
Simon was found by Sharon.
Dead. Sharon placed another 911 call.
Now, what is
Don't worry about that. Just get somebody out here.
Ma'am.
Yes.
What's the problem? What happened?
My son-in-law, he stopped breathing.
All right. I am going to send help right while we're talking. Are you with him now?
Yes.
How old is he?
He's 42.
42-year-old man.
Yes.
And is he awake or not awake?
It was just breathing, and now
Is he
he
awake
stopped
or
breathing.
not awake?
He's sleeping.
And he is not breathing, you said.
Yes.
Not breathing at all.
Yes.
I have sent the help out there on the way while we're talking. Did you witness
Please?
it? Ma'am, help me out here.
All right, hurry up, please.
Ma'am, I need you to take a
I
breath.
know. Stop it. I'm the only one here.
Then stop talking and start listening so I can use you to help me.
Okay,
All right,
I'm listening.
Did you see
I
what
have to put you
happened?
on speaker.
Put it on speaker. Hello.
What?
Did you see what happened or not?
He had fluid in his mouth.
Is he choking on anything?
Gurgling, and he was, and he snored.
Okay, ma'am.
And then he stopped breathing.
All right, is there a defibrillator available?
No.
Okay, let's move on. I am going to walk you through some steps here. Get right by him now. Are you right by him now?
Yes, it's sleeping in there.
Lay him flat on his back on the ground, no pillows.
I can't get on the ground. He's gigantic.
He's gigantic?
Yes.
Is he in a chair of any kind?
What?
What kind of a chair is he in?
He's in a bed. He was laying down.
All right.
The call is, I think it's 11 minutes long. I listened to the full thing.
There's a couple issues going on here. One, the 911 operator's annoyance with her annoyance with the 911 operator.
Yeah, so I mean, she's heard being kind of difficult with the 911 operator.
She's like, I know.
Which, of course, could easily be explained by shock or stress. After the home was searched by first responders, prescriptions were found on both sides of the bed in the master bedroom. Just to be crystal clear, the bed that Brittany and Simon would have shared. One side's prescriptions were mostly in Simon's name, but on the other side were Sharon's prescriptions, which were prescribed to Sharon Monjack.
What?
Yeah. So,
oh, come on.
She said that the reason they were sharing a bed, so she didn't try to deny it, the reason they were sharing a bed was because they both needed comfort from each other after losing Brittany. The man who owned the pharmacy that Brittany, Simon, and Sharon all used later said that he once made a comment to Sharon that, quote, I think you've got more than I do, and I own the pharmacy.
Wow.
He said he remembered thinking that something bad was going to happen with them, and at one point did refuse to further provide their medication.
Really?
Yeah. So I guess celebrities do tend to use aliases to fill their prescriptions. So Brittany's was Lola Manlow, which is, I don't know. So Sharon Monjack was not her actual, like, legal name. They weren't married, but she was using that as an alias. It's still weird.
It's still super weird, and it's also like, okay, Sharon, no one's really thinking about you that much. I'm just saying, like, you don't have to go and change your name. That's not...
Yeah. It would come out later that Sharon was using 6 separate pharmacies to fill all of their prescriptions. And in the home, do you want to know how many different prescriptions were found prescribed to Simon? Just Simon.
I would like to know.
90.
90 prescriptions. Yeah. I mean...
90 prescriptions to one man, Simon.
I'm going to take a wild guess, too, that some of them probably had some mind-altering effects as well. That is a party. Yeah, that's 90.
Yeah.
A little unnecessary, but...
10 less than 100.
Yeah.
The same coroner who presided over Brittany's case as well as Simon's case was named Ed Winter. He is, quote, the coroner to the stars. He is not, from what I can gather, very... Well, he presided over Michael Jackson and Whitney Houston's deaths as well.
Oh.
And he, ruled them accidental or whatever. And as we all kind of believe, Michael Jackson wasn't,
Yeah.
whatever.
Another story.
His death was not natural.
No.
This guy, Ed Winter, reported back that Simon's cause of death was, do you want to give a big ol' guess?
I'm just going to take a shot in the dark here and say
let's hear it.
overdose.
Well, it was actually acute pneumonia and extreme anemia, as well as drug intoxication.
Pneumonia.
And anemia. Exact same as Brittany.
Hmm.
So how did this happen?
I want to know.
A husband,
I want to know right now.
A husband and wife both die in the exact same way 5 months apart from each other. The LA County Department of Health considered toxic mold as a possible cause of death, but this was dismissed by the coroner. Sharon said that an inspection for mold was never requested by the Department of Health, and that mold as a cause of death was, quote, absurd. However, as of 2011, she publicly stated that toxic mold was definitely what killed Brittany and Simon, and filed a lawsuit against her own attorneys that represented her in an earlier lawsuit against the builders of the home. Brittany's father, Angelo, and her brother, Tony Bertolotti, believed Sharon and Simon actively and purposefully caused Brittany's death, and that despite the coroner's ruling, foul play was involved. So, Angelo hired a seasoned forensic pathologist to look over the autopsy report and everything.
Yeah.
This pathologist said her death was, quote, rare and unfathomable, and that acute anemia can be a sign of arsenic poisoning. So arsenic was not found in the autopsy, but Angelo thinks that the autopsy could have been faked or not done properly on purpose. I don't know about this, but her hair had never been tested in the autopsy, which is apparently weird. Angelo sent some of her hair to be tested himself, and the report came back showing 10 different heavy metals present in her system, which is extremely rare and can also be an indicator of poisoning.
Huh.
Sharon denied Angelo's request to have her body exhumed to do a second autopsy. Sharon has said that Angelo is only interested in Brittany's money and was not in her life until she became famous. So, I would like to pose a question. Did Sharon make sure that Brittany didn't have a relationship with her father? Because it seems like, just judging from what Angelo is saying and everything, he would have liked to be in Brittany's life, but Sharon was so domineering over Brittany her entire life. Maybe she didn't want that.
I totally believe it because she seems shady as a shadow with the phone calls and all this stuff that's happening. I'm sorry, I'm not one to give people the benefit of the doubt.
From the outside looking in, it does seem like Sharon was obsessed with her daughter.
Yeah.
Angelo thought that as well. He thought Sharon was too involved in Brittany's marriage and that she felt jealous and threatened that the couple were discussing moving without her to New York City and starting a family. Angelo fought for answers about his daughter's death until, unfortunately, his own death at the age of 92 in 2019.
Oh.
As of today, the official stance of the LA County Coroner's Office has not changed from its original ruling, and they deny Brittany having had any heavy metals in her system at the time of her death. Dr. Richard Shepard, who is a forensic pathologist, analyzed Brittany and Simon's autopsy reports for the TV show Autopsy, The Last Hours of, ellipses, which investigates the autopsies of strange celebrity deaths. He said that to him, it looked like Brittany was possibly a hypochondriac due to her heart murmur diagnosis that she was so worried about, and a car accident she had gotten into in the 90s, which left her in a lot of pain and could have possibly been the start of her regular use of prescription drugs. He also thinks the heavy metals in her hair were from hair dye. There were no heavy metals in her bloodstream, according to the report. She was not showing any other signs of having been poisoned in her skin or in her teeth. The mold in their home could have weakened their immune systems to cause them both to become so extremely sick so quickly. But it's kind of interesting to note that Sharon never got sick.
That's literally what I was just going to say, too. Okay, that's all fine and dandy, but she was there. I mean, if you're getting comfortable enough somewhere or you're leaving your medication on the bedside, you're staying there.
Oh, yeah, she lived there.
Yeah, you lived there. So how are you just invulnerable to this supposed mold?
This is a case where there are no answers, of course. We have one last theory that possibly could have been because... We have one last theory to go over.
We have one.
We
when I have one theory that
you don't have, but
you have a theory.
So we have one more theory to go over. There were 56 security cameras at Brittany Murphy's home. The home also had a security guard on the premises 24/7. Simon and Brittany were both very paranoid about someone breaking into their house because, specifically, Brittany's close friend, former Homeland Security agent, screenwriter, and author Julia Davis had become a whistleblower for Homeland Security. Julia had allegedly uncovered that terrorists had been allowed in the United States through the U.S.-Mexico border on the same day Osama bin Laden had planned attacks in America. So to be clear, she says that the U.S. government was willfully letting terrorists with intent to harm into the country. There was allegedly a court case in the works regarding this, and Brittany was set to be a star witness in the trial.
Oh.
And she had apparently, allegedly, come out in support of Julia. Keep in mind, this theory in particular is all a conspiracy theory and, in my opinion, has little basis in tangible proof. Julia Davis did interviews and promoted her story on shows like InfoWars. Take from that what you will.
Yeah, with a grain of salt.
During her InfoWars interview, she said, quote, "I went into work for the Department of Homeland Security right after 9/11, and I was starry-eyed and very naive. I wanted to help protect the nation from the terrorist threat, and when I tried to do exactly that, I've encountered retaliation that I could have never imagined happening in this great country. 23 people from special interest countries, which are terrorist countries, have been allowed to enter the United States without being enrolled into any databases that they were supposed to be enrolled in, without their documents being copied, without their fingerprints being taken." End quote. She has a self-produced documentary on her claims called Top Priority: The Secret Within, which, according to IMDb, features Simon and Brittany in some capacity. She says Homeland Security has come down hard against her and pursued 54 investigations against her, among other alleged actions she claims Homeland Security have made against her. Brittany allegedly came out publicly in support of Julia, which resulted in her and her husband being placed on a Homeland Security watch list. Here, drink more. Now, Julia did sue Homeland Security in a discrimination lawsuit, which she actually won. The judge ruled that,
wow,
quote, "Given the nature and depth of the agency's betrayal of Davis, no reasonable person could have continued working in such an employment environment. I find that based on the record in this case, complainant has established not only that the agency engaged in illegal conduct, but also that the conduct was intolerable to a reasonable person because it was especially humiliating and included unnecessary harassment. Secondly, I find the complainant's resignation was caused by or in response to the illegal treatment." End quote. Sharon believes that Julia and Angelo are working together to put together this conspiracy for financial profit. So Angelo and Julia have been like photographed together, that kind of thing. It seems like they are in cahoots in one capacity or another. Yeah, I don't know. I don't tend to believe that theory, but it does have some legs because she did win in a lawsuit against them. But, I mean, it was a discrimination lawsuit. It wasn't a lawsuit of, like, it wasn't necessarily a harassment lawsuit, you know what I mean? But, I don't know.
Well, Liv, you brought one hell of a story.
Thank you.
I'll tell you that much. I mean, like I said, going into this, I'm not really one to get into the celebrity dramatics, but that is...
It's just...
It's strange.
It's unexplainable because you think one thing and you're pretty sure it's that, but then there's all these other things that are just make you question it.
Definitely.
And if there is something funny going on, what is it? I can't tell you what it is.
Hell, I couldn't tell you either. I don't know. I feel like Sharon and Simon...
They're unsavory.
That, and they're just... I feel like they almost looked at that as like a financial gain. Mm-hmm. And that's what's sickening about that. Well, Olivia, thank you so much for bringing us that story about Brittany Murphy. I One, I had no idea any of this happened. I liked her a lot. I liked her movies and all that stuff. And
Me too. She seemed very girl next door. Like, I would be friends with her. You know what I mean?
yeah, super bubbly and fun.
Yeah, it stinks. I mean, her death was untimely. Whether
32.
whether there was foul play or not, she's gone too soon, and it really stinks.
Way too soon.
So, go watch Clueless, go watch Uptown Girls, go watch your favorite Brittany Murphy movie, and celebrate her life and her talent.
Yeah. I'm trying to watch Uptown Girls. I haven't seen that movie in so long.
We should watch it tonight.
We should.
I've never seen it. All right, well, we're going to go do that. So we're going to end this here. Always remember, you can follow us on Instagram and Facebook at Clandestine Pod. We go live every Saturday and Sunday at 8 to 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. We announce when we're going live on the Instagram, so check that out. We go live on twitch.tv/Stefanuchis.
That's me.
That's STEFANUCHIS. We'll see you next time.
We'll see you next time. Thank you, guys.